Good day, good day. We are live, and we got our opponent here, Paulson from Greenland. Paulson from Greenland. It's played a remarkably interesting opening. We're not going to give him big center. I hate giving people big center. So we'll take this, and then what? It looks like a very English kind of system. I think bishop pretty much has to go here, right? Question is, what do we do here? We don't want to take. I'll actually offer him the chance to take and double my pawns. I don't think it's such a big deal, especially in this structure. Would give me also a weak pawn to kind of attack. So that move, it prevents the knight hop here. So we're already kind of repositioning the knight to a different square, just because. But did I miss a chance there actually? Could I have just captured and then checked? Fuck, I could have. I missed a chance. Okay, no problem. No problem. Let's just keep it simple. Don't try to do anything too fancy here. Giving him one last chance, I guess, to take things into his own hands and he hasn't taken that chance. So we will bust it. We will bust it open on this side. We will take the offer at final at last. But now what? Now what do we do? Now in the past, I've often played moves like this, getting over here, but as I've studied these positions a bit more, I get the feeling that that's not so good. So instead, I'm gonna play more on this side. I'm just gonna try to play around here. Not exactly clear how, because I somehow have to also get the knight there. I'm just gonna take one snip off, just as simple as that. Then let the queen right here and threaten all sorts of shit. But he captured with the rook, which is probably correct. And so I guess we got to break it open. So let's break it open. We're still keeping our main daggers alive. Okay, the rook was not really our main attacking weapon. His rook is his main defensive piece. This is a hostile move. Hostile move. My instinctive reaction is to come here, but okay, let's do it. Could also capture there, but it doesn't feel like it's ripe enough. It doesn't feel like the tactics come fast enough for me. So let's respect this move. Let's not be. Let's be patient. Yeah, it's not enough. We don't want to give him any counterplay here. We just want. We just want to take these off and get queen and bishop acting in tandem. Okay. Okay. Now Let's come in here with this knight and queen. We'll get the knight involved too. Since you wanted to play that way, then fine, fine. Let's see how good you can defend with your knight. Because now we've got new threats, attacks, possibilities are brewing. You've got this final shot, haven't you? Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Okay. Mm, yeah. Okay, fine. And we've got to do it the hard way, probably the hard way, the long way. But we want to win that. I do want to win that pawn. I really do. I know. I'm a bad person. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Never mind, you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. He's playing defensive, so we'll get the last bullet, the final bullet in the chamber. We're bringing him in here, okay? Because that's how the game has panned out, for better or worse. Shouldn't react to this. Guess we capture. Now we try these kind of things. To keep the bishop safe. Nothing move. That's a bit of a nothing move. Try to sense the moment and try to do something dramatic here. Okay. Yeah, it was just too much pressure after all, and he crumbled. We don't like it when people crumble that quickly, but I admit there was a lot of pressure and just so happened. It was kind of a masterclass in a way, but mm, ultimately an average game according to AI. I mean, 86% will take it. We'll take it. Even 2300 rating is not bad, but I think it was all in all a very good game. So let's have a look. So this knight move here was in fact correct, even though I was thinking at the time that perhaps it's better this way. You know, get him to move his king. But I guess it's safe enough that it's not such a big deal. Maybe that's the lesson there. But anyway, AI really liked my knight move, which was not cashing in on the immediate thing, and eventually I took it, and that was the wrong idea. I should have maintained the tension and broken forward with f5. So breaking forward with f5 here, instead of maintaining the tension, what does that allow him to do? Knight c3, f4, and then bishop takes, pawn takes. So you basically want to induce that capturing so that you can exploit this long-term weakness over here. Is that the lesson? What about this? You'll have to find ways of kicking it out, I guess, but this is what the computer thinks is good. And it's not obvious like that this would be better, but it is according to the computer, so it must be. I mean, let's just play it up there just to see. Okay, so the response is knight g6, h4, knight d4, so he can't yet take this, h5, And knight h8? Really? And this is like winning for black, apparently. Why can't he take here? Help me understand this. Queen comes in. Knight tries to play spoil sport. That doesn't work, that we can see. But here, okay, his knight will be taken and therefore can't defend the rook, so he has to hide all the way in here. And then you get the bishop all the way there. Wow, that's a tough thing to understand, and you can see why, because you've got to really understand somehow that this would work out like this. It's not obvious. Not obvious. Okay. Well, we played a more simple, a more pedestrian, peasant-like approach, and that's who we are. Isn't that right? F5. So the final break of F5 was actually the wrong time. Computer's suggestion is to make the more slow maneuvering moves first instead, like knight maneuver here, followed up with c6, queen g2, knight g6, stuff like this. But basically to not play the f5 break is what the computer thinks is the way to handle this. Because what's the point of f5 break? You're just gonna help him undouble his pawns, right? So there's a lesson to be learned here. But the cost of not playing f5 is you don't have a pawn break. Now you're kind of in a holding pattern. So you probably got to figure out how to make your play on the other side of the board or something like that. Yeah. So the point is that this helped him in his position, and that's important to understand here. But the knight hop move was inaccurate, and we responded correctly, patiently, even taking the rook at the right time, hopping the knight in a good way, queen in. All of this is coming very fluently, but this was inaccurate because I thought if we attack, then he takes that at the end, and then what? Even position. Okay. Yeah, we could have settled for an even position, but we saw that our plans of darkness were really getting ripe and ready, and he didn't have. We could tell he didn't have the that kind of supreme class that would be able to handle a position like this. So we were patient, and just played the moves that come very simple and naturally. And then he made that nothing move there. And that allowed us to basically get into action. This was the wrong move. I thought about the bishop sack, but how is it a thing? Oh yeah, because then you queen check and take the knight. But here his best response is to just simply lose the pawn. So it's not like he did anything great. It's a difficult thing to consider anyway. Um, but let's just have a look at the tactic. Capture that piece, and if he doesn't give you a bishop check, then of course if he takes here, then queen check, and you win the knight after. He can't hop into any of the squares. Uh, but this move we saw he's cracking. Yeah, we saw he was cracking, and then he could have really fought on here. So I was a bit disappointed that he just kind of gave up. But let's see what is his follow up. No, he's got enough to play for here. It's not worth resigning or anything. Anyway, cheers.